Namaste, Divya, Sadhno, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of our podcast. My name is Bharat, and with me, like always, is my wonderful, highly skilled, trained professional co-host, Mr. Parth. And today we have someone really special, all the way from Indore. We've got Mr. Ashwin Adwani, who's a really well-renowned singer-songwriter slash musician slash internet sensation. Ashwin has done a lot of stuff. Ashwin has a very good dominant social media presence. He's done a lot of collabs. He's put out his own music. He's been into gigging, and we're going to know about his journey and a lot more his influences. So Ashwin, how's it going, man? क्या चल रहा
All good, bro. All good. Just been working on a lot of music.
है?
Nothing much. Oh, I'm so sorry.
So
That's a
Timing
brilliant
perfect.
start.
Timing
Yeah,
perfect. Yeah. So,
yeah,
so you were saying you were working on music. So, what
yeah.
kind of music you're working on right
I'm working on a lot of originals, bro. I've been writing, I've been producing
now?
all over the
Hmm.
place.
Right, right. So, इससे पहले we were talking. You were saying you were producing in Logic Pro. So,
Yeah,
tell me, like, what is the process? Like, you sort of, I think you compose your songs on the guitar, right? I think
right.
that's right. So, tell me, like, what is your process of like how quick do you compose a song and what is the longest that you've taken to make a song and like how do you go about? Is it the tune first? Is it the lyrics first? Or is it like a feeling that you're trying to chase with the music that you're trying to make? Or I'm sure it differs from song to song also. So tell
Yeah.
me a little bit more about that. How do you go about that?
A lot of people go lyrics first. Some like most people go melody first because you need to have a
Hmm.
catchy melody and stuff like that. But
Absolutely.
for me, it's like hand in hand, bro. If
Right.
if
Hmm.
anything has to come out, it'll come together or it won't come out at all. Like
Right.
if I have a thought in mind, then I would try to hum it in a way that
Hmm.
would sound good,
Right.
right? And then that thought develops into sort of a room that
What?
I'm sitting in, and like I'm imagining all the things that like spiraled out because of the thought I had.
Right.
So I
Right.
create a scenario around me. Like mostly it's about personal experiences, but if
Hmm.
if a thought drives me sometimes, then like
Hmm.
that's the sort of setting I go for.
Right.
And it usually takes me about a day to finish the song. Like
Hmm.
writing wise, lyrics wise, I try to I make sure that I don't like leave anything,
Hmm.
because like, there's this thing that Ed Sheeran once said, that
Hmm.
if you have something inside you, let it out.
Hmm.
If you don't give it its time to breathe, if you don't give it its time to, you know,
Hmm.
take birth, if you take like a day more, if you like
Hmm.
procrastinate and
Hmm.
ये
Hmm.
सोचो कि कल कर लूंगा, तो it might not be as honest as it would have been that day. So
Right. If you
I
sort of delay
follow
the
that.
process. Hmm.
Right.
Hmm.
So
Right.
I
Right.
follow that for like that. That's my mantra, bro. When I write songs,
Right.
don't
It's
get up.
is it like, I mean, you write it in a day is what you're saying, but then again, I mean, it goes on to
Rewrites, yeah,
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 iterations, right?
for sure, for sure, for
sort
sure.
of
But the
rewrite it and better it.
Mhm.
initial ideas need to come out then and there,
Right,
if you
right.
need the song to be as honest as possible.
True.
But
True.
like
Push.
if someday I'm not feeling, and like if I'm not feeling it and I don't want to write the second verse or something like that,
Mhm,
I
Hmm.
leave it
mhm,
for like
mhm.
the next day or
Right.
something else.
Right. It's interesting you brought Ed Sheeran up because I was watching a video of his. It was sort of like a Q&A session that he was having, and he was talking about like the 10,000 hour theory. I'm sure that
Yeah,
I mean
yeah,
Mhm.
he was
100%.
talking about he was talking about the fact that how he just did a lot of gigs when he started out, and Ed Sheeran is one of the most inspirational stories in terms of like the whole singer songwriter scene.
Right.
So I mean he was talking about how he did a lot of gigs. He just kept writing songs, and then he mentioned this term called the dirty tap theory. He said that when you start a
Yeah,
tap, there's a lot
yeah,
of water, muddy water, which comes out.
yeah.
But then when you keep it on for a longer
Then
duration,
clean
then
water starts
clean
flowing.
water starts
That's
flowing.
exactly how songwriting works.
Right.
You get better at songwriting only by writing more songs. Nothing else. No
Absolutely.
tips, no tricks.
Hmm.
You won't be able to learn a lot from a
Hmm.
masterclass. If even if Ed Sheeran gives you a masterclass, you won't be able to
Hmm.
learn as much as you would learn by writing
Hmm.
more songs. Write a song
Absolutely.
each day.
Absolutely. So, man, when did you start writing songs? I think you mentioned to me that you started writing a song like 5 years ago. You wrote a
Yeah,
song. The first song that came out was like 5 years ago.
I wrote the
So,
first four lines for that song in 2015.
okay. Acha, so then
The
you build on
initial
that.
idea, yeah, that was when I was just starting to, like build a connection with my instrument and have my thoughts come out of my mouth as words and not
Hmm.
just melodies and stuff.
Hmm.
So that was when I picked up like songwriting. properly.
Right.
I started writing songs, and my first song that I ever wrote was a Teachers' Day tribute, and I performed that song with my band in school. So
Okay.
that was like the first ever song that I wrote and I finished. And
Hmm.
I started writing in 2015,
Hmm.
stopped writing for a while in 2017,
Hmm.
briefly for a brief period. I didn't
Hmm.
do music at all in that year, like
Okay.
for a brief period.
Mhm.
And
Right.
then I picked it up properly again after watching Ed Sheeran live in 2017. I
Right.
was like, dude, there's no way I'm
Right.
leaving this thing.
Right. Right.
Yeah, it if I'm standing like here in the crowd, I want to turn it around and be at the stage.
Oh,
You
how
know?
beautiful.
Yeah,
That's an interesting way of looking at things. Yeah, I know. Like sometimes live gigs can give you the most amount of envy in terms of like,
exactly.
man, I want this, like
Yeah,
gratification I want. But that's interesting. So when you watched them in Bombay, when you come to Bombay,
yeah, yeah. I did.
and that was like after Shape of You and all. Like I think it had come before also after like thinking out loud and all.
Yeah, I was gonna come for that gig as well in 2015, but then I had my boards that year, so
Right.
I couldn't. And he came on my birthday that year, 1st March
Oh,
2015, and I missed
acha.
that gig, bro. So I was like, ये वाला तो नहीं miss कर सकता. And I was in the front
Huh.
row
What
for
do
the
you
next
say?
one. Yeah, bro. I'm in the
Right.
picture that he clicked.
Wow.
Acha.
Yes.
That's so cool, bro.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, I mean, Ed Sheeran is one of the people that you really is evident that you like. Who are the other
Yeah.
songwriters that have sort of influenced you? You were talking about Summer Mehdi and the Yellow Diaries. Those are Indian people, and absolutely rightly so. They are doing some tremendous work. Who
Yeah.
are the people? I mean, apart from them that you sort of resonate with, and then even sort of talk about how Yellow Diary and Summer Mehdi have influenced you in a further
Sure,
detail.
sure.
Hmm.
I really look up to John Mayer, bro. I really look up
Right.
to John Mayer, Love, James Bay,
Hmm.
Harry Styles, for that matter,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
a
Hmm.
lot of Indian musicians who have just like come to the highlight, like limelight. I've been
Right.
listening to a lot of their songs since the past 3 or 4 years, and
Mhm.
now
Hmm.
they're like taking center stage. And because like during the lockdown, Bollywood tha nahi, so everyone was listening to indie music, bro, and that's
Mhm.
how everyone blew up. And
Yeah.
everyone
Yeah.
had their own journey, and now everyone has their own fan base, and a lot
Hmm.
of people are making amazing music. So a lot of Indian artists as well, Anita Bhamri, Anup Jain,
Absolutely. Hmm.
these guys are doing some amazing work.
No, they absolutely are, bro. I
Yeah,
mean, what's really wonderful is that, ever since the emergence of like Spotify and your NH7s, all these avenues that have opened up and have sort of like YouTube, firstly, I mean, I think that has democratized the whole sort
right.
of scene where people are not governed by labels. And, I mean, there's nothing wrong in labels. It's just about how you approach your career.
Mhm.
So, I mean, the fact that people have an access and people have the opportunity to build an audience and, sort of go about things. I think that's really wonderful. And all these indie artists somehow even sort of do brand work or sort of collab,
Yeah,
like you also
yeah,
have, which is also wonderful. So tell me about that, man. I mean, what I really found interesting about your social media presence is also that it's a very diverse social media presence. So I
Mhm.
mean, like you're doing collabs, which is also a really good thing because I think remote collabs and all these things have been a thing ever since like the lockdown happened.
yeah,
And I think once the geographical boundaries, like we are doing this on Zoom, right? I mean, I don't think it would have been that a normal thing to do before March 2020, where you know, I mean, now it's the norm. It's been over a
yeah,
year now, so people are sort of accustomed. Otherwise, it would be like, oh, let's go to a studio, let's have like a 3 camera setup and sort
yeah.
of do this thing.
Do like a
Right.
proper
So
podcast with mics and stuff and
Mhm.
this and that. Now you just need like a minimal setup. You just need people
absolutely,
talking. That's it.
Yeah, you just need a
absolutely,
camera and a earphone, basically.
absolutely, man.
Right.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of abundance of it also. I mean, and that's great, man. I mean, people get to explore themselves into new territories. Social media, smartphones, everything is empowered people. So tell me, how has your social media presence really helped your career? Because also before that, what I want to ask you is that you said that you used to do a lot of cover gigs, and I know personally a lot of friends in the scene, like we belong to Pune, right? So
Yeah.
there are a lot of friends of ours who sort of we meet at open mics and then they test their stuff like they're looping and the new song or something and then they
Yeah.
sort of do that in a 2 hour 3 hour set that they go and play at a restaurant gig, which I feel is a very important learning curve for any artist because you're getting paid for your stuff, which is wonderful, so that you can sort of invest it back into whatever you want to, whether it's your original music
Right.
Mhm.
or your own
Mhm.
sort of your expenses and all of that, which sort of makes artists independent at a very young age and make them value. And also I feel it's a good training ground to sort of read rooms, understand how to
Exactly.
play
Right.
to different audiences,
100%, man.
build a stamina as an artist, and all those things.
Yeah.
So before coming to the whole social media presence part, I feel that there's like a good backstory that we would want to know to how you got into like the whole gigging scene within Indore. So how is it like? And I'm sure that you sort of went to other places as well as time went by.
Yeah.
So tell us
I
about
did.
that. How did you start in the Indore music scene?
Bro, it's like for you to know like and understand that the gigging part of it, you need to
Hmm.
go back to the social media part. That happened because I was super active on social media. I was
Okay.
posting
Okay.
and
When is this,
things. I
bro?
was,
When is which year in particular is this?
I think it was 2018. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it was 2018.
All right. Okay.
Like I mentioned, after seeing Ed Sheeran, I was like, I'm not gonna stop. Nothing can stop me now. अब तो कोई नहीं रोक सकता.
हाँ
So I
हाँ
came
हाँ.
home. I made a lot of covers because
Hmm.
making covers was like like the thing back then. Everyone was making covers. Even
It still
I
is,
wanted to.
but it
Even
still
I
is,
wanted
yeah.
to make a,
Right.
yeah. It still is.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
So.
I made a lot of covers, and a lot of people from Indore noticed it.
Hmm.
And
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah, so I got my first gig. First paid gig was in Mumbai.
अच्छा. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
a guy from Indore who works at clubs there and
Hmm.
like does the PR and stuff. So he called me
Hmm.
up. He's like, "Would you like to drive down or like maybe take a bus or something?" I said, "Yeah,
Hmm.
cool, bro. Send me everything. I'll be there." And like that was like the first
Nice.
paid gig that I did in Mumbai. It was pretty
How
cool, bro.
beautiful. Hmm. Hmm.
And in that year, like since I was not doing music full time, bro. I was also working with my father. Like he has
Hmm.
a business, so I was sitting at his office. I was also taking care of the business for almost two
Hmm.
years.
Mhm.
Right.
And
Hmm.
in 2018, like January, I went to Mumbai and do that, and came back
Hmm.
home. And I fought with my parents. I want to move to Mumbai. I cannot stay here. This is not for me.
Hmm.
And I couldn't convince them. So
Hmm.
like, okay, I'll do my bachelor's here, and then like while I'm
Hmm.
doing my bachelor's, I'll keep working on my music and I'll gig
Hmm.
and stuff. So
Hmm.
yeah, I tried that, but it didn't happen.
Hmm.
And I was so frustrated that year, bro.
Hmm.
So and I
Right.
couldn't
So this was in
focus.
2018. This was in
Yeah,
2018.
2018, 2018.
Right. किस चीज में bachelor's किया bro? What did you sort of pursue? What degree were you
I did my BBA in foreign trade, bro. It got
doing?
completed last year. I didn't get a
Right.
graduation ceremony, no farewell, nothing.
All of this for nothing. But
Yeah, bro, all of this. I mean, I didn't even go to college, let's be honest. I didn't
अच्छा.
deserve a farewell, so.
ठीक है bro. कोई show में encore कर देंगे एक बार once more बोल देंगे.
Yeah, yeah,
It'll suffice the sort of
right.
void. But
Yeah.
nice, bro. That's really. So was that like sort of the foreign trade thing that you did? Was it linked to the business that you were helping your dad build, or like
No, bro. No, no,
ऐसे
not
ही
at
कर
all.
ऐसे ही कर लिया ऐसे
Yeah,
ही कर
bro.
लिया.
I mean, that was the only option I had. I gave an entrance exam. I wanted the
हाँ.
best college, but मुझे second best मिला. तो second best में मैंने best course ले लिया. I was like,
अरे
okay,
Mhm.
let's
सही
do
bro.
it. Bro,
बढ़िया.
मैंने 12th के बाद कुछ नहीं सोचा था. I did not know anything. I was not thinking. I was going through some other shit back then.
हाँ
So
हाँ.
Mhm.
yeah, and in 2018, since I was really frustrated and stuff, and I was not paying attention at the office as well, my dad
हम्म.
fired me, bro. बोले तेरे से नहीं होगा
अरे.
तू जा. Yeah, he let me
This is
go.
some wake up to shit, bro. But
Yeah.
this is
He let me go. बोले नहीं होगा तुझसे. And we had a like we had an
हाँ.
intense fight. फिर उसके बाद,
अच्छा.
as
अच्छा.
soon as I got out of that, I got an offer from a cafe
Mhm.
like to
अच्छा.
be their resident artist, and they had like 12
Oh, wonderful.
branches in Indore.
Oh
So
wow.
अच्छा.
they're like,
Okay.
Nice.
"आ जाओ करो, like do this.
हम्म.
It'll be
हम्म.
good for you as well." And they
Right.
were paying me money, so I was like, "Okay," but the money was really
और क्या
less.
चाहिए?
The working hours were. It was like a salary job, bro. It sucked for. Like
Oh.
it
अच्छा अच्छा
was
अच्छा.
good in the beginning.
हम्म.
It was good. I was getting all the attention. People were coming to my shows. It was fun. It
अच्छा.
was a learning
So
experience.
how
But
many
then
hours were you playing, bro? Like on an average, were you playing every day, or like what was the scene like? Were
I
you
was
playing?
playing uh, almost every day. Sometimes I had an off. It
अच्छा. Okay.
was it was 3 hours, sometimes 4 hours, sometimes even more than
Damn.
that. Yeah, I used to
Damn.
take breaks, bro. Yeah, I used to
Mhm.
take breaks. That's how
हाँ,
I
of course,
survived.
bro. Of course. Like yeah, yeah. हाँ,
Yeah,
बिल्कुल.
so it got pretty long, and I started itne bade bade sets se, bro. So I can
हाँ.
go on for almost 2 hours and not get tired, bro. That's how
Mhm.
I
Stamina
build
build
my
हो गया ना.
stamina. Yeah, exactly.
हाँ.
So I
हाँ.
can
हाँ.
perform for 2 hours. I can do like a whole 90-minute set by myself. I
क्या
don't
बात
mind.
है?
Yeah, bro.
अरे
Nice.
बढ़िया, bro. That's
So
wonderful,
that's
actually.
how it started. I
Hmm.
I performed all over the city, so a lot of clubs were noticing that. A lot of, there was a lot of buzz because people were actually going out and actually going
Hmm.
just for the musician to see a show.
Mhm.
People
Hmm.
in bunch,
Hmm.
not even just like two, three people. A lot of people from Indore were coming. My friends'
Right.
friends, फिर उनके
Hmm.
friends. So that became like a thing. Everyone used to come, used to jam. It was
Hmm.
fun. It was fun while it lasted. There were a lot
Hmm.
of problems also, which I though I don't think I should mention them, but
Like,
it was
I
fun
think in a
though.
funny way,
Correct.
in a funny way, like if you want to like get onto it, as in
Yeah,
like
yeah.
if you, hmm,
So, see, if you think about it, I mean, I was
hmm,
not given anything for the first 2 3 weeks. I had to
hmm,
take my own mic. I had to take my own mic stand. I had to take all the cables. I had to take my own amp and
what
my
do you think?
pedals. Yeah, so it was a hassle, bro. I had my guitar bag. I had one bag full of pedals, cables, and
Hmm,
one amp in one hand. और फिर उसके बाद वहाँ रखो and then go back to your car and then bring the stands and everything
hmm,
and set everything
hmm,
up.
hmm, hmm,
So
hmm,
yeah,
hmm.
it was a mess, bro. For the initial
Correct.
2 3 weeks, it was a mess.
This
Right,
was
right.
this
But I
was
did it for 2 months, not more than that. क्योंकि भाई उनकी तरफ से problems आने लगे थे, and I was like, I need to leave. Yeah,
this
so I
was
Correct.
around 2018, right?
yeah, this was October November
Mhm.
2018.
So
What?
I've been
Okay.
in Indore for 4 years. I mean, I did my
Mhm.
bachelor's there,
Hmm,
and so at that point of time, this was around what 2012.
Mhm.
There was no scene at all. There
hmm,
was
Yeah, bro,
nothing
dead
at all,
silence.
and then all of a sudden, this whole thing of people playing in cafes, people playing in restaurants, and even now, I think we are able to see a lot of open mics as well coming up to
Right.
hmm,
Indore and cities like, I mean, I don't want to say interiors of India, but I mean it's like not the metro cities
Yeah, yeah.
basically.
Tier
So
two
Indore,
cities.
Bhopal, and even in UP, I've seen a lot of open mics happening now in places like Bareilly, where
Oh,
you can't even think about कि
bro,
अच्छा यहाँ
I
पे
didn't
कोई
even know
scene
अभी
है,
तक.
right?
hmm,
So that's good in a sense now, but again the
hmm,
time that you are talking about, which is like in and around 2018, 2019, I think that was the start of these things happening.
hmm.
Right. I
So
mean,
how is it now? I mean, how is it actually now?
Right. Hmm,
How's the scene
it
there
got
now?
it got better, bro. It got better towards 2019, and 2020 was the best. But then
hmm,
now it's even worse, bro. अब तो क्या
hmm.
ही चल रहा है, bro? Like
Yeah,
What
everyone
up?
totally.
everyone's snatching work here. Everyone's
Arey?
yeah,
Hmm,
bro. Because basically 10 बजे के बाद restaurants बंद. So like this month has been very dry.
hmm.
इसके पहले
Hmm.
भी
Correct.
there were a lot of restrictions. बार-बार हर 2 महीने में there is something new. So
Hmm,
even if like an artist makes a repo एकदम अच्छे से कि हाँ I'll do 4 gigs a month.
Hmm.
hmm.
Okay, there's another artist who wants to take that slot and say I'll do 4 gigs a month for 2,000
Lesser price.
less. Yeah.
Ah.
Right, right,
So
right, right.
Hmm,
that's what's happening because बहुत कम जगहें open है
Hmm.
and
hmm,
there are a lot of people जो
hmm.
perform करते हैं and
Hmm.
Demand supply.
even
Hmm,
even even those people who went out of Indore
hmm,
performance के लिए to build their career and stuff like that, they had to come back because of the lockdown.
hmm.
So all of them were like at ground zero अभी एकदम
Right,
ground
right,
floor
right,
पे. So everyone has
Hmm.
to build from that scratch now.
right. So we've
That's how the
we've
scene is.
I mean I'm sure Bharat will agree with this that
Hmm.
I mean everywhere where there was a scene pre-lockdown, just after the lockdown and the past year, basically the scene went down, and
Yeah.
now people are trying to start basically from scratch.
Hmm.
And I think Pune scene has been pretty good that way.
Hmm.
That's what my observation is. Gigs are happening. There are a lot of restriction, of course.
Hmm.
There
Hmm.
are a lot of venues had to shut down because of
Hmm.
Yeah, they couldn't last.
yeah.
He's
Yeah.
saying this because he's playing at one of the biggest venues. Yeah, if you
It's like
want.
saying,
Yeah.
good luck, bro. Good luck.
Like,
Where are you playing?
So you must know High Spirits.
Yeah, I do. I do.
oh,
Yeah, so I've
yeah,
got
yeah,
a gig
Hey,
there.
that's nice, man. Good
Fortunately,
luck.
yeah, yeah,
thanks, sir. Thanks.
yeah.
So
He was just
basically
looking
the
for a compliment. He was just looking. He was
no,
hoping.
nothing like that. But
I was just
but
kidding.
the
I was
thing is, I mean, so I'm so glad that the way Pune scene has picked it up now. That
hmm.
I mean, it gives a certain amount of hope after what has happened. That
Hmm.
things will eventually get
Hmm.
better, and I hope that happens in Indore and Pune, Indore and Bhopal and the tier two cities because
Hmm.
pre-lockdown I could see a very very good scene starting to pick up.
Yeah.
There
Hmm.
were a lot of people actually, I mean, performing a lot of good music.
Music.
Not
Hmm.
just music. In fact, people were coming in open mics and performing a lot of stuff. Even the
Hmm.
comedy scene had picked up. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The whole
so
thing
uh,
went down.
I just hope that it picks up again for
Yeah, it
good.
will, bro. Live industry is the heart and soul of the entertainment
Absolutely.
industry, bro.
Mhm, mhm,
Live
1000%.
scene, and nothing beats the live experience, bro. I
No,
I
no,
um I
for sure.
wanted to attend Lucky Ali's show in Goa. I couldn't do
Hmm.
it,
Hmm.
so I attended that Bacardi thing, or like NH7 Weekender.
mhm,
Right,
mhm.
right,
So I
right.
did. I attended the online gig. It was nowhere close to what I
It
would have
it
felt.
Oh,
wasn't. It
absolutely.
wasn't.
Nowhere close, bro.
No work.
Right.
True.
So
True.
Hmm.
and like, bro, देखो ऐसा ना, now that concerts have started happening, a lot of
Hmm.
people have started doing shows 500 capacity, 600 capacity.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
People have, started craving that experience more now, so they are asking for more, and like
Mhm,
artists are providing more.
mhm.
So
Hmm.
I mean, once it all gets better, let's just hope it does, and the
Hmm.
like live industry picks up again.
Oh,
it,
yeah,
it
yeah,
has to, bro, it
absolutely.
has to.
It has to. There is
Has
no
to,
other.
bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It
think
has.
there is no other way.
Mm.
I think you can't sort of replace the live industry with online gigs. It's a parallel scene, and I think it's an
Mhm,
important avenue because it sort of democratizes the whole aspect of venues and artist managers and artist programmers having the
Exactly.
monopoly. I get it in that aspect, and you're putting yourself out there, and you if you can generate revenue from it, which is such a wonderful thing remotely. Also, you can
Yeah.
cater to a wider audience. So ये तो बात है, but I don't think you can sort of overlap it or replace it with like a live
Nothing
stream.
can replace the experience,
It
bro.
can't. You can't.
Yeah.
but
You
again, I
can't.
mean, you've
If a
talked about
Yeah.
the good things about online gigs, right? Bharat, you mentioned that it has democratized and it has kind of
Hmm.
uh, brought the artist a little bit up in the terms of like the artists will now are somewhat
Have the upper hand in certain
not
cases.
being
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
dominated.
Hmm.
But I've
Hmm.
I've also seen
The
this
artist is
happening.
not a part of the lineup. The artist is the show now. Once
Yeah.
Right,
Oh,
exactly.
that's a Bollywood dialogue, bro. That's
yeah.
अब मैं line up नहीं अब मैं show हूँ जो उखाड़ना है उखाड़. But
But
yeah,
again, I mean, I need to point this out that I've seen gigs happening, especially when it just started, the Zoom gigs started picking up, right? Especially
Hmm.
at that point of time, I've seen gigs happening, and this was like a 30-minute slot or a 45-minute slot. The artist would play 45 minutes is a big time, big amount of time. It's not a small time, right? And for that, not getting paid because, and the sole reason was that this is an online gig, so
Yeah. But
we can
no,
do
man.
anything.
Like I did
But you're selling
few
tickets
things here and
basically.
there. I did
Yeah,
a
yeah.
few things
So,
here and there.
Mhm,
Like there was
Hmm.
this community gig. You
mhm,
must
mhm,
Hmm.
know
mhm.
about
Hmm. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Ragami
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
of
Artist.
course,
it's a
of course.
wonderful thing it started, man.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
So
incredible.
I performed at the first ever showcase online. So
Mhm,
Hmm.
I think that is one of the very few initiatives
mhm.
on Zoom or anywhere that is actually paying whatever
Right.
money comes from tickets to the artists. And
Right.
I'm sure like none of the money that the showcases have made, any of that would have gone to anyone but the artists.
Mhm,
Four
Hmm.
artists at each
Hmm.
show and one graphic designer. So all the
Oh
tickets that
wow.
are sold,
Hmm.
like you gather the money, give it
Hmm.
to all four artists and to the graphic designer. Nothing else. No one keeps the money.
That's beautiful, bro. I
Yeah.
mean, that's wonderful. That sets such a good precedent for like other people who sort of want to venture into this. And
Right.
that's and I like how the graphic designers also because I think the graphic designers, the photographers, the light people, the sound people, these people
They
make it
like,
happen,
yeah.
man. These
Behind the
people
scenes,
behind the
they
scenes, man.
make sure that people get attracted to what you're showing them, and then they buy the
Absolutely,
ticket. If they
absolutely,
don't
bro.
do a good job, then like
yeah.
half the
Yeah,
tickets won't sell.
True.
right,
True.
right. 1000%, bro. 1000%. That's really interesting you said it that way. So yeah, coming back to the question that we were talking to you about. Now we've spoken about like the other aspect, like the other horizon of like online presence, which is like Zoom
Right.
shows, which you think is a good avenue, but not necessarily your first preference.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the fact that you have like this good social media presence. And in terms of like you're doing a bunch of stuff, right? You're doing the covers that you've been doing for a very long time, like you said, ever since you got more regular in them, ever since you saw the Ed Sheeran show. Then you've been doing online collabs, which is a thing which is sort of emerged, and it has become a norm now because people have understood that you have to not physically meet the person. You can do stuff
You can do,
remotely,
yeah. You
and
can
it's
do.
become normal now. It's become
Mhm.
normal. People have got used to the split screen not being like a sort of a compromise. It's a thing now.
Yeah.
So एक तो वो बात होगी. Then you have also been putting out your originals and you've done the music videos and you've done all those things. And then, so you tell me this online presence that you have and this relationship that you have with social media, it can be overwhelming at times because sometimes you can get lost in your own hype. I'm sure that sometimes it can be a little sidetracking because the attention that you're getting is sort of it could be very disproportionate to what like a live gig gratification could be, or like, being around people normally. Whereas you put out a story, you get all these replies, people are commenting, hey man, your song is the best. So
Right.
you are the best, you are an inspiration. And those things
Yeah.
can sort of get to your head, and those things can sort of affect you subconsciously, consciously, unless you're thick skinned and you realize that social media isn't real. Which I think
Yeah.
even if you do, sometimes it can still penetrate through. I mean, no
Right.
matter
It
how
of
hard the
course.
experience, no matter how hard the experience. And sometimes people have vested interest to, compliment you, and you're not able to understand. You get deceptive by, whatever they're trying to put. So what is your relationship with social media? You're really active on social media. So you're doing all these different formats, which I think is a very interesting approach, because then you can do anything, right? I mean, you have come to you've come to this juncture now where you think that you can take any road, right? I mean,
Right.
you've done you can venture into Bollywood also. I think you set a base because you did that rendition, which I found really interesting. I would want to touch later, that you started with covers and you did like a proper official rendition.
Yeah.
Like, that's great, man. So apart from that, so how do you look at things, and what is the relationship with social media, considering all these
That's a
aspects?
very nice question, bro.
Thank you, bro. Hmm.
It takes a lot sometimes. It takes a
Hmm.
lot away from you sometimes. But then
Hmm.
you need to be out there. You need to
Put
show.
yourself out
Yeah.
there.
You need to put yourself out there. You need to make sure that each and every aspect of you is
Hmm.
known to all the people that
Hmm.
have followed you. Because see,
Hmm.
if say a bunch of new people start following me today, so they need to
Hmm.
know that I am a musician. I write my own songs. I
Hmm.
can
Hmm.
produce music as well. I love making videos. I love vlogging.
Hmm.
I love doing all
Hmm.
these things. I love joking around. I love
Hmm.
making like pranks and stuff. I cannot stop talking on my stories. I need to have memes at all times. So
Hmm.
they need
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
know all those things about me.
Hmm.
if
Hmm.
if
Hmm.
if I want to build like a proper, like a personal
What
connection, yeah, ekdam
हाँ
acha wala connection, where which they just
Hmm.
don't follow me for my music. They just
Hmm.
they need to know who I am as a person, and they need to know what kind, like what is my personality, and they need to be
Hmm.
connected with that. And if I
True.
have that person to person connect, then the music
Hmm.
thing is absolutely brilliant, bro. Because if
Hmm.
they know me and the sort of person that I am, and then they listen to
Hmm.
my music, they can
Hmm.
actually picture me in there. They can actually
Hmm.
feel what I'm feeling, since they have
Hmm.
gone through that journey with me.
Absolutely.
So
Hmm.
this is the best part, that if you're that active on social media, these are the perks. But
Right.
then there are cons
Hmm.
as well. There have been days where I haven't felt like doing anything, but then I still had to push and make things and like put it out, even though
Hmm.
I wasn't feeling anything. And there have been
Hmm.
days where I did stuff, I made stuff, and it didn't do well. So that kind of like
Sort
it
of
sort of,
bums you out.
yeah, it
Yeah.
bums you out.
Hmm.
It does. I
Hmm.
mean, it doesn't, do it as often as it used to when I was like a teenager. Because
Hmm.
back then, all you think about is like if people would like it or not. Now, now
Hmm.
move past that stage. Now I'm doing it just because I love it. So
Oh wow, that's
like the
wonderful. Hmm.
external validation kind of vanishes after a point. So,
Hmm.
but like sometimes there are weekdays. There are some
Hmm.
days that you feel weak and like you give in, and if you
Hmm.
don't get the amount of not the amount, like the reaction that you thought you would, if you don't get it,
Hmm.
sometimes it bumps you out.
Right.
But I try to
Right.
balance it out. I have people around me who I talk to. I have a brilliant team. They keep me grounded. They support me
Hmm.
through thick and thin. So I just don't need to worry about it. So yeah.
Right. No, I would agree with that, man. I think how even we sort of made this happen also in terms of communication, was very
Yeah.
effective. And I think that's a good, having the right people around you is sort of like a cocoon to
Right.
the sort of, direction. I mean, I think, having the right people around, having the right mindset, doing it for the right reasons also. And what I
Yeah.
really liked about how you sort of mentioned it is that you said that you want to firstly, sort of reflect your authenticity as to what kind of a person you are, because
Right.
social media can become a very good fake pretend platform where people are just,
Exactly.
posting those aesthetic photos of themselves, and putting random ass captions with like some French sort of connotation to it, and you don't know what the fuck this guy's talking
Yeah.
about. But that's interesting though, that you sort of, being keeping it real, because I think in the long term, how long will you last? Because at some point
Yeah.
of time, I mean, who would want to make a second Ashwin Adwani account PBT just to sort of share memes
Yeah.
like a lot of people do. I know a lot of friends of mine who sort of reach a certain level and they're like, I just have a private account because I want to keep things real. And
Yeah,
my
even I do, bro.
you do
Yeah.
that's
I mean,
great, bro.
I don't have an account. I have those friends who make like separate
Absolutely,
accounts. I try
absolutely.
to keep my account as authentic as I can, bro. I memed
Mm.
myself today. If you watch my stories, you will go and see I memed myself today. There was this
Right.
old picture of mine where I'm
Mm.
doing this sign for some reason. I have no idea. It was back like it's a picture from 2010, and I asked my followers to make memes from that
Ah.
picture, and bro, it was a blast, bro. I had a
Mm.
good laugh. Yeah.
I have to check that out, bro.
Yeah.
Dekhenge wo bhi. But I know that's really interesting because see, I've seen like John Mayer also do this, like where he's just, if you see the music video of New Light, it's just basically him just having
Yeah, dude.
a great face.
It's the best music video ever. Like,
Absolutely,
no
bro.
question. Yeah.
1000%. Because I was like, man, you reach such a certain level where, like, it's not about you being a good musician. It's about like you have such a huge female following. There are people who think that. And
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's even more attractive when you are just, sort of fooling around because I think
Yeah.
there's some sort of liberation in that sort of
Exactly.
channelizing yourself out that way. And I think the people who can laugh at this, because I think once people are like, oh, this is me now, this is the kind of
Mm.
photos I'm going to post, this is the sort of thing. And then they're like, if I do something out of this, people will be like, what is this guy doing? But it's
Yeah,
just like,
pagal hai kya ladka. And like more than
pagal hai kya?
people, you stop yourself from doing all those. You
Yeah,
don't want to look foolish in front of a lot of people. That's
right,
the biggest factor, I think, for people who just
right.
play pretend like they have been given a personality, and they take
Huh.
their personality and like follow that
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, man. I mean, that can be really suffocating. It's good that you didn't do that from the word go. I mean, okay. So tell me, like, what is the non-music Ashwin Advani like? Like, what are your friends like? How old are, because I think that what I heard about, I think Ranveer Alabadi was talking about this, the guy who runs Beer Biceps. He was talking
Yeah.
like, which I sort of resonated with. I think because I think both of us are of the same age. That after 22, your friends sort of change. Like they go into different directions and all. All the friendships until 22 are sort of like either they could be your friends for long, I mean,
Yeah.
as long as it could be, or they could just be temporary entities in your life, and I mean, move their own ways with all good feelings and all, mutual respect.
Right.
Yeah, tell me
So,
about it.
yeah, so, no. But,
Dad.
so what I want to know is like the friends that you have right now and the people that you hang out with. I'm sure that it might be a mix of the people that you met in a professional capacity also, and
Right.
also the people that you've sort of been friends with for a longer time.
Yeah.
So, what is like an off day when you're not doing music, you're just chilling, you're being by yourself? What is that Ashwin like?
So it's funny you mentioned the transition period. I'm going through that transition period right now where,
Hmm.
22, I've just turned 22. So
Hmm.
I'm going through that period where I have to make sure. See, there are a lot of people in your life who would come and like help you grow. But then
Mhm.
there are a lot of people, like majority of people come in your
Hmm.
life and you can only grow a certain amount with them.
Right.
Right.
Hmm.
So I have like a lot of people in my life like who might hear this podcast, and they would get to
Hmm.
know this bad news that I'm done with them.
Hmm.
So
It's
yeah,
not
bro, I'm in that
it's not me,
transition.
bro.
It's not me, it's you.
You are the
Yeah,
problem. Yeah.
yeah. So
So,
yeah, that's what happening, bro. I mean, you need to have a circle who is also vibrating at the same wavelength.
hmm.
Like you need to have like people who have goals and ambitions. you
Hmm.
you you suck out the energy, bro. If
Right.
you're around someone who has no
Hmm.
ambition, पड़े हुए हैं बस जो है चल रहा
Mhm.
है, just
Mhm.
doing whatever the fuck they want to. if you
Hmm.
if you stay around them, bro, you're bound to get negative energy that they throw out in the world. You're bound to get that into yourself, and you're
Hmm.
bound to
Hmm.
go downhill.
True.
So I just make
True.
sure that I have people around me who are also ambitious and like doing and like have making efforts to become better. That's it.
Right. Right. No, that's wonderful, bro. I mean, also how I look at it is that I've come to realize is that people are going to be at different junctures of their life and they are going to have different ways of going about their life. And like my friends, a lot of my friends are not from this field at all, like the field that I happen to be, right? So it is sometimes good to be with contrasting entities also because you realize that there's such a uh, it is important. They also there's a life that exists outside the whole system that you build around for yourself,
Right.
and that could be really like a good POV because sometimes when you're just with the people around who are always, I mean, of course they might be equally driven, or you might want to reach their level of self drive and all those things. I think it's good to like sort of have a contrasting thing, but like you said, yeah, I agree on that fact. is that sometimes it's not even disrespect to them. Sometimes it's just that probably if I'll be around you, it is going to slow me down as to
Yeah.
where I want to get.
Right.
And I think the best way I have also come to realize is that you wish them the best. There's no harsh feelings. It's just that
Yeah.
you probably have to sort of distance yourself in certain aspects just for the greater good. But
Yeah.
there's no sort of despising them or
Not at
saying
all.
that.
Yeah. They're
Yeah,
not
I think
bad people, but like you
hmm,
have to get better. That's it. I want to
right,
get better.
right, absolutely.
Mm.
It is more growth oriented. Yeah, I
Right.
get it. I get it. So have you always been this driven? Like what was like the sort of instigating factor? It was like, yeah, man, I gotta like your wake up in the moment where you were like
There have
you
been a
like
lot of wake ups and moments, bro. I
right.
cannot just mention one, but
Hmm.
like the biggest moments that I've faced were the first of course being Ed Sheeran,
Hmm.
like seeing him live and like
Hmm.
getting so moved and like feeling all
Hmm.
those emotions which I didn't even know existed,
Hmm.
and
Right. Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
like getting your first paycheck from like actually performing and singing and like making music, all those things give
Hmm.
you a good kick.
Right.
But like the biggest turning point and like the biggest driving force that I got and like the biggest motivation was when my dad kicked me out, bro.
Hmm.
That was the lowest. I mean,
Hmm.
I've never been that like low in my life ever. I was
Hmm.
not talking to my father for say a week or two.
Hmm.
So I mean that was when I did most of the thinking for what I want to do ahead.
Mhm.
Right. Hmm.
That was when I that was the point where I created the initial idea कि भाई अब यहाँ से कहाँ, if not this
Correct.
then
Very much.
where and how.
Hmm.
So a relative of mine once told me that you need to have a hierarchy sort of, you need to make a table for yourself. You need to have a hierarchy ki ye
Hmm.
in order to get here I have to do this in this amount of time,
Hmm.
only then I'll be able to get here. But I didn't follow it ekdam aisa step by step. I
Hmm.
had things in mind. I need to reach there and I need to work this way and I need to
Hmm.
get there. Aisa. I
Hmm.
didn't follow it properly, but
Hmm.
I had that thing in my mind subconsciously and it just happened. So
Hmm.
that point where I got kicked out and I started like focusing on music more. That's
Hmm.
when all those things started coming, bro. I started
Hmm.
writing more songs. I started performing more. So
Hmm.
the fact that I got to a place without any help, like by just posting covers on social media, by
Hmm.
just like writing songs and just performing. If I get from point A to point B
Hmm.
without
Hmm.
any external help, without anyone supporting me, without any family money involved or any like external factor involved, if I can
Hmm.
go from like point A to point B, then I can also go from point A to Z and finish my whole journey on my own. I don't.
Right.
There's no stopping me. If I've come this far, I haven't come this far only to come this far. I have to go ahead.
Oh, absolutely. Hmm.
That's the only driving force I've
Hmm.
had, and like it sort of gives me a kick even today.
Hmm.
But like I have people around me right now who like sort of
Help you
help
out in that.
me and like yeah
Empower you.
yeah,
Ah.
I have resources and stuff right now, but
Hmm.
that's still the the raw idea. That's still the motivation that keeps me going.
Hmm. No, absolutely, bro. I mean, the people will also be there around you and help you out only if you believe in yourself to a certain degree.
Right.
How much? I mean, you've got to that point where people want to associate, and the professionals who've been doing this would want to, sort of invest in your journey and their
Mhm.
time and energies only because you sort of proved your mettle in certain
Right.
aspects. So, I mean, that's really interesting. And also, what I feel is sometimes after you reach a certain point, you tend to get complacent, right? You are like, okay, man, you that can be sort of like a energy which can sort of suck the passion out of you for some
Right.
time, or sometimes you can just get sort of that contentment that you are able to derive with certain milestones being reached by the time or by the way that you want to. You are like, okay, man, I'm probably invincible also. Sometimes it happens,
Yeah,
and
it
I
does.
think that
It
I think
hasn't
Zoya.
happened to me luckily, but yeah, it
No,
does.
I'm sure, man. I mean, the fact that you're talking so passionately about, pursuing your purpose, that speaks volumes about the fact that you're looking at things objectively, and you probably have seen examples around you that you're like, I should probably not take this for granted, which I'm sure you're not. I think I'd heard Zoya Akhtar talk about this when she was making like Luck by Chance. She was like, when she tried to make that movie for 7 years and it was not being made. So when I think Anupama Chopra was doing an interview with her, she asked her, how did you survive? She was like, because of cockiness. And she was like, so what if they don't want to make a movie with me? It's their loss. I
Yeah.
think I think I think somebody I really look up to. He had told me that ego is a double-edged sword. I mean, sometimes,
Hmm.
like you said, like when you probably your dad said that you should not do this with, I mean, not work and all of those things with me. I'm sure that that sort of dented your ego in a way, but it sort of said that no, probably I don't know. Was it that way that you were probably like, I mean, ego not in the ego way,
Yeah, yeah.
in the sense
Not in
that
a
all of us,
negative way. Yeah.
in not in a negative, in a constructive way, that you
Yeah.
probably were like, I think I probably am more than this, and was it like that for you, where you felt
Yeah.
that,
Yeah. Yeah. I I
right?
I I think there was a lot of ego involved.
Hmm.
Right. And if it
Hmm.
wasn't for my ego being hurt that bad, I don't think I would have got the energy, or uh,
Absolutely.
the energy to pick myself up and actually do what I've wanted to do and
Hmm.
go along that path.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No, because it's something of that
Now,
sort that
but now,
happens.
since sorry, I'm sorry, I'm cutting you this way. But
Not at all.
since we mentioned all the things that happened with me and my dad, I just want to clarify that both of us are at the best terms right now. There's
Oh, absolutely.
no dude.
Nothing is
He's my biggest fan now, and
Oh, wonderful.
yeah, I'm just really grateful, man. From
Right.
from seeing that to seeing this, it's been a whole
Hmm.
journey. I just want to put it out there. Yeah, love
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
I'm sure he might be really happy about that decision he made that day.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like,
He's
my
like,
son has proved
I'm
his
so
mettle.
happy. I'm so happy I kicked him out. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, you receiving an award, you're like, thanks for firing me. That,
Yeah.
that fired me up.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's interesting actually, because I think yeah, sometimes you need those, you need that kick on your butt just to sort
Yeah.
of realize, that, I'm more than this, and I need to sort of look at things in
Right.
perspective. So that's been one aspect. Do you have any brothers? Like, do you have any siblings, or you're the only
Yeah, I
child?
do. I do.
Okay.
I have a younger sibling. I have three cousins. So
Oh,
I
right.
live in a joint family, so it's
Oh,
pretty
okay.
much a party
It's
every
almost
day.
like yeah, it's
Yeah.
almost like living with them as your siblings.
Yeah.
So that's great, man. That's great. So I mean, how have you like sort of shifted base to Bombay, or you still in very much in Indore?
Yeah, I was supposed to shift to Bombay in 2020. I got into
Hmm.
music school, but then,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, nothing happened, bro. I didn't want to attend online classes, and I was investing all that money. I was like, I'm not feeling it anymore. I'll do
Right.
it next year or when things get better. And right now,
Right.
I don't even feel the need to join a music school. I mean, right now you
Hmm.
can just take lessons, take private lessons, and they'd be as good as a music school. I'm not discrediting a music school.
No,
I'm
no,
not
not at
shitting
all.
on anyone, but private lessons, the one-on-one thing works much better for a lot of people than the class setting does. So
True. True.
yeah,
I'm sure. I mean, each to its own, because I know friends who are doing like online lessons in terms of like vocal training and
yeah,
learning the specifics of certain instruments. And I think it can be really beneficial. I think that's the
absolutely.
beautiful part about like Zoom and all these things, because now people are actively pursuing these opportunities. When the whole Dalgona coffee thing was happening, people were
Yeah,
like,
dude.
we call that the Dalgona coffee era. But yeah, so
Yeah, it's
people are
gonna be
like,
1 year to that, bro.
yeah, yeah, bro. I mean that
But did you
Dalgona
give in?
coffee.
Did you make dalgona coffee, bro?
No, I'm so glad I did.
Bro, I did. It tastes so bad. It tastes
What do
so
you think?
bad. Yeah,
What
bro,
do
I
you think?
did. I did. It was
But
so bad. Yeah.
you know what? What I find funny is that you spend all that time sort of stirring that coffee, and then you have it, and you're like, what? What's the
Yeah,
point
bro.
of this?
I should have listened to a lot of my friends who said it tastes bad.
So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought
I
about
now
the
think, I
effort.
mean, now that you pointed that it doesn't taste good, I
Yeah.
now think that the whole hype was built up because
Of the
people
aesthetic of
realize,
it. Yeah,
yeah, so
just because.
people realize it's you can't drink it, so rather take the picture and post
And
it.
yeah, post it and people are going to
उसको
reply to your
इतना
story.
मेहनत किया
Oh,
right.
मैंने.
yeah, nice.
Yeah. I mean,
That's probably
it
all.
was a metaphor for life. Dalgona coffee is a metaphor for life.
That's
All this
too
time,
deep, bro.
going to realize that
Yeah, bro, for sure.
it's going to be we should collectively name our biographies Dalgona coffee, but no, no, just kidding. So that's interesting, man. That's interesting. So yeah, I mean, I was talking about the Dalgona coffee time because I remember a lot of people were like, "Hey, I'm going to go. I'm going to do Udemy classes. I'm going to learn this. I'm going to learn that."
Yeah,
So what I also want to know is like, apart from music, like you said, like you like to vlog and all those things. Do you have interest? I think it's important to sort of even like if you have like an A career or like there's a main thing. I'm sure that you need hobbies also to sort of keep you sane, because if you're just
yeah,
doing that constantly, it sort of becomes derivative because you're just too much into that. And I think you need those breaks to like sort of have like a fresher outlook towards everything. So
right.
we spoke about like you having real people around yourself and keeping a circle tight and all those things. What are the things that you do apart from making music? I'm sure that it occupies a lot of time of yours because you are advancing in your career and doing all those things. So it's not like a decision that
Yeah, you need to work even harder than you were doing
to
before.
earn that freedom. Yeah, I mean it's the opposite. Like you need to work harder to become, or
Hmm.
yeah. So what are the things that you, in whatever free time that you earn for yourself, or sort of manage to sort of keep? What are the things that you do to unwind?
I really love writing, bro. I have always been fond of photography and videography. I hope to someday own like a proper film camera, like a mini
Hmm.
film camera which I can use. And I don't even know the basics of it. Final Cut Pro, and
Huh.
I
Oh
love doing
wow,
edits. I love making
that's
edits to
hardcore, bro.
videos.
I'm like you'd be like I use
Yeah.
iMovie, but you're like I use Final Cut Pro. I mean, that's
Yeah,
great,
bro.
bro.
It was
That's
like a
great.
bundle, bro. I got everything. Final Cut
Ah,
Pro, Logic Pro. I got everything.
right,
So
right.
yeah.
I
So
mean,
yeah,
right, bro.
I learned a lot during this quarantine. I
Hmm,
learned a lot of video editing. Since I
hmm.
was making covers and I was doing that split screen, I
Right.
also had the time to learn a lot of things, video editing aspect
Hmm,
of, and like
hmm,
I learned a lot of things, man. There were all these songs that came out in the lockdown. Okay,
hmm,
we'll come out stronger. Vishal Mishra had a song. Okay,
hmm,
Bharat jo hai jeetega Bharat, and like
Mhm.
we
hmm.
defeat Corona and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So a lot of my family members, made videos, and they asked me to sort of make.
Oh, अरे तुम
Uh,
वीडियो एडिट करते हो? अरे वीडियो एडिट तो
do
करके दो.
that, do that. Yeah, so I started with that, and I started getting into like editing it, and I learned a lot, bro. So I went to Goa
Hmm,
December, May, just to give myself a break. I was really like
hmm,
fried
hmm.
घर पे. Like
Right.
let's go, and
Oh yeah,
went
yeah,
there.
absolutely.
I recorded a lot of footage.
Hmm,
Came back. I didn't realize I recorded more than I needed. I recorded
hmm.
almost 58 minutes of footage, and I
Damn,
I
that's like a
I
movie.
went through yeah,
Almost
I
like a
went through
movie.
all that footage, and bro, selecting the best footage was the biggest task. Editing में उतना time नहीं
Hmm,
लगा जितना what you need to put
correct.
in the vlog did. So
Right.
I made
I think
like
that's
an
a part of
8 minute.
editing.
Yeah,
That's a part of editing, but
yeah,
yeah, absolutely. Hmm.
yeah. So
True.
I made that 58 minutes ka footage into 58 or something minutes ka footage into 8 minutes ka vlog, and
Oh wow.
it took me a lot of time to edit
Hmm.
that. But it was a learning experience. अब अगली बार इतना time नहीं लगेगा, I'm sure.
Hmm. नहीं
So
नहीं.
yeah,
But
I love that. I love photography. I really want to learn properly. I really want to learn videography and photography properly.
अच्छा.
Mhm.
I love being active, bro. I love playing around. I love going on walks. I
Hmm.
cannot stay inside my room for
Confined. Hmm.
yeah, a very long time. I
Hmm.
love walks. I cycle sometimes. I work out. So all
Hmm.
these
Hmm.
things keep me sane. I just love talking also.
Hmm.
So I make sure that I am talking to a lot of people throughout the day, that that keeps me
Hmm.
sane. I have people who are just starting out in music, who are like really close to me now, who are
Hmm.
just starting out. So I'm making sure that they don't make mistakes that I made, and I'm like making sure that they
Hmm.
have the correct
Mhm.
tools and
Mhm.
resources that they need right now. I'm
Hmm.
helping them out.
आप मेरी जैसे माइक मत कैरी करके लेके जाना प्लीज. आप मेरी गलती दोहराना.
Yeah, bro. I'm making sure that they don't get taken advantage of for
Oh
sure.
yeah, 1000%, bro. I
Yeah.
think it's good that you're doing that because we have.
Mm.
So I don't know whether you're aware. There's this very well-renowned band called Fiddlecraft in.
Mhm.
So
I've heard them.
right, right.
I've
They're,
heard them.
they're probably the best of our city, and they're doing some tremendous work. I think they had some songs in this Amazon Prime thing that came out a movie
Right,
came out.
right.
So the lead of Fiddlecraft, the founder, is Gaurav Kadu. We
Yep.
call him Gaurav Bhai. So he also is at a very sort of position where he really doesn't need to give a damn about other people in the scene. But the fact like he's voluntarily shot music videos for people and put them out, call people to sort of his house and recorded songs for them and put them out, and gives the right guidance, tells people to sort of uh, okay, come and open for me and all those things, and they play at the best venues, whether it's like Hard Rock Cafe
Yeah.
and all
Mhm.
those things.
Mhm.
I think that accessibility, and if there's somebody who's sort of bridging that gap between like you said, that point A to point B, and that point A to point B always varies. Even your point A to Z will not be A to Z directly. At some point of
Yeah.
time, even if you are at Y, it will still be A to B for you, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that you need the right people around you, and when there's somebody who's actually doing it and living the dream, what for some people what might be the
Yeah.
dream, that's a wonderful thing, to give back to the community. I mean, that's what I liked about community also, about what Ragam Mittal did. I
Yeah,
mean, he really did need to do that. I mean,
exactly.
he
He
really
didn't
did
need
need.
to. He didn't need to create a platform for artists to come and
Yeah,
perform because he has his own thing. He could have
Yeah.
done like a live session of his own where he comes and sings his songs and
yeah,
leaves. But then
Right.
he decided to
yeah.
go one step further and make a community of people who actively want to participate, who actively want other people to get better, who
Mhm.
actively want to root for each other when even if one
Mm-hmm.
person from the community makes a song and they put it out, everyone from the community posts a story or like praises them or like gives them a shout out and make sure that their music doesn't go unheard. Bro, this is the
Mhm.
best thing that I've seen
True.
this year.
1000%, bro.
I
I
think
mean,
that
He's brought
that and
musicians closer.
I think
true, true.
Ragam Yakel and I mean the whole community thing
Yeah,
and even Ehsan
S
sir
answer,
doing
yeah,
that.
for sure.
I mean
Oh, why? Yeah,
he
For
yeah.
sure.
he
One
for
thousand
For
sure
percent.
didn't
him,
need
like
that.
for him, he actually didn't need to, bro.
Right, right.
No,
He
no, no.
still
Yeah,
does it, bro. He just
He's
randomly goes
he
live.
yeah, right, right.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it had become a running joke that all of my friends one by one were going on his live session.
I've
It was
I've
like,
only attended like I've only gone live with Raghav Miatal once,
hmm,
and it was a ball, bro. It was fun.
hmm.
He's a super chill guy. He's a fun guy.
Right, absolutely. It's good that you spelled his surname out. I was like, how do you pronounce the surname? The Beetle, Miachel,
Miatal.
Miatel.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, uh,
Hmm.
all of us have the same team. So, like, there's this
Right.
inborn thing. We call him Raghav Mittal. So it's a
Oh,
silly thing. Yeah.
right. Acha.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, that's good, man. At least. I mean, that's the most sort of Indian thing of doing it, like spelling
For sure.
the
For
surname of
sure.
somebody. But so, I mean, what when I was asking you this question about, you were talking about like you are at these junctures where you sort of place yourself and you can, take directions and always come back because you've established yourself, you put yourself out there, and I think for your audience that you built, there's something for everybody, right? I mean,
Right.
there's nobody particularly following you for a particular reason, right? And that's good. That's a good space to be in because then you can just sort of further build. So there's this one
Yeah.
YouTuber I happen to follow, and I think he's really good. His name is Vinamre Kasana. So he's like a Boston graduate or something, and he was talking about like how you need to in your initial years, in your 20s, you need to grow horizontally before you grow vertically, right? If you're
Right.
getting what I'm trying to talk
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. Yeah. Completely understood.
Like you said that you sort of know editing and you like photography. I'm sure it helps you in a lot of ways because you can sort of articulate your vision
Exactly.
visually about regarding the stuff that you want to put out. Because I think I was talking to my friend Akshat also, who you happen to know. He's super into like doing good music videos and putting them out and investing in those things. And I was like, that's a very good trait because you are market. I mean, I think music videos are a very good tool to market yourself and
Yeah, bro.
True.
very
Recall
very
value. It has a great recall
1000,
value.
1000%, and good discoverability sort of
Mhm.
medium for like people who just randomly watch the music video and then get to know about you and all those things.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
so what I want to sort of know is that, um I mean, like you sort of put yourself in this place where you sort of grown yourself vertically, horizontally, and now you're growing vertically. So, what are the things that you genuinely feel now that you've sort of put your hands into and you've understood that these are the things that what is it that you enjoy the most out of all the things you do, whether it's like social media collabs, like I could see that live music, performing live music is one of those things. But do you see yourself doing Bollywood or do you? And also, what I found interesting is that in the covers also of yours, there's that Western touch which is
Mhm.
there. Like your Western influence is very sort of evident,
Yeah,
and I think that sort of makes things really distinctive about how you're doing. Because I know a lot of friends of mine also, like Pink Floyd fans or Pearl Jam fans, and when you hear them do like, there's a very good artist in our scene. His name is Vyom Joshi. So he basically he does like a 2 hour 3 hour set and he like play the first hour with like English covers and all, but then he'll come back to like classical stuff. And you're like,
oh,
if there's somebody who's listening it from the outside, from the road, he'll be like, there are two different musicians who came and
yeah.
did that, nailed their job. And you are like, I mean, are you sort of in that place where you sort of gathered the data that you put, I mean, from the stuff that you've done, like the experiments you've done?
Yeah,
What is it that you enjoy the most? I'm sure live music is one of them. So apart from that,
yeah.
what are the things that you enjoy doing and see yourself doing in a long term?
I
Sort of.
love writing songs, man. Love
Hmm.
writing songs. I love writing with other people, writing for other people,
Hmm.
and I absolutely want to test more of my videography and video editing skills, because
Hmm.
I think there is something there which which I
Mhm.
Hmm.
need to capture and I need to get better at. So
Hmm. Hmm.
these
Hmm.
two
Hmm.
things
Hmm.
for sure, bro. But then yeah, let's see, bro. I'm still seeing the world. I couldn't
Right.
actually do a lot of things that normal people have done when they're growing up, like with
Hmm.
the whole working with my dad situation and then getting into the unplugged scene. I didn't actually live my you know uh, post school and college days like
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
normal people do. I was either working or performing, so there I missed out on a lot of things. But yeah,
Hmm.
I've started to get I've started to discover myself, and
Hmm.
yeah, it's been
Hmm.
quite a it's been fun. The
Yeah.
last 2 or 3 years have been fun. I've discovered myself in a better
Yeah. Because what do
capacity.
you write songs about? I mean, I think you need.
Exactly. You need experiences. You need
Hmm.
to like go through all of that thing, all of those things, and like come
Hmm.
back and reflect on
True.
all those things and write songs about them.
So like if I give you an option, your career is like at like a pause, like a video game pause. You go and do your stuff and come back, and you just have a year as of now. Tell me
Yeah.
5 activities that you'll actively pursue yourself into and like do constantly, just to sort of regain that normalcy and have that contrast to like your professional attributes. What are the things that you would like to do?
No, I would see. I love food, bro. I absolutely love going out and eating at great places.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I love tasting new stuff. I want to learn cooking. I want
Hmm.
to like I want to learn a lot of fancy dishes as well, and not just basic cooking. I want to like nail it properly, etc.
Hmm.
So that for sure, I would learn how to cook. I would
Hmm.
go out and eat at a lot of places and give reviews, because I've heard I give good reviews about restaurants and cafes to my friends. So I'm
Hmm.
that guy who they call and kahan jaye khane. This is the kind of
Hmm.
stuff that I want to eat. So I tell
Hmm.
them ki go to this place, you'll find that there. This is their specialty.
Hmm.
So I want to
Right.
go and like explore that thing. I want to learn videography.
Hmm.
See, there forests and wildlife, and that isolation wala vibe attracts me
Hmm.
a lot. Like the forests,
Okay.
I really want to like do something around that thing. I want to go camping or stuff like that. I haven't ever
Hmm.
gone camping, not even on a trek.
Hmm.
So I want to travel more and do all these adventurous things.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
yeah, that's it, bro. And if I get good content out of it, then why not?
Acha even put that out. That's good, bro. The content creator in me never sleeps,
Yeah,
irrespective.
bro.
But yeah, that's wonderful. Bro. That's wonderful. I mean, that's really honest, rather than people saying, "Oh, I'll go to Europe for solo backpacking and find myself and all those things."
Yeah,
But
no, bro. That's pretty pretentious.
yeah,
If I'm going to a forest to like get my sanity back, then I probably won't record it and like put it out. But then
yeah,
when you're having fun with your friends and you're like in that zone, you're
hmm,
bound to have all those moments which are like camera worthy and like
right,
Mhm.
which others also see. The fact that people go through all these long ass vlogs
Mhm.
is because everyone deep down is sad. Everyone
hmm.
wants to watch other people having fun because inside they're sad. So
You don't
if
have to attack us that way.
no no, bro, but honestly, this is what I've seen, bro. Yeah,
No, absolutely.
I watch vlogs because there are things in, say, a David Dobrik vlog that I resonate with, where
Oh yeah.
he gives out cars to his friends and stuff like that.
So you also give out cars to your friends? I'm
No, bro, but I would
kidding.
love to, bro. I would love to.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah,
It could be aspirational also, no? It doesn't need to be.
yeah.
Yeah. What is the female attention been like? How do you look at it?
So I don't look at it that way, bro. I mean,
Acha.
you're bound to get female attention if you're making pop music, for sure.
हाँ,
And
वो तो है ही.
you are in your music videos, and your music videos look good, and you have that
Hmm,
aesthetic, and you dress
hmm.
well, and you
Was
look
that the
like
reason
a
you didn't
certain
come
way.
in your music video initially? You were
No,
like,
bro, no. Bro, I really want to feature in my next music video because
hmm,
I want to explore that thing as well. I want to
right.
like
Hmm,
be in front of a camera and not be that shy, and
hmm,
like
hmm, hmm,
be able to act and stuff
hmm,
like that. So yeah, I want to do that. But
hmm,
like female attention, I don't look at it as female attention. I just look at like the whole bunch of people who just support me throughout, man. I just love that feeling. It's not the
That's
gender.
great, bro.
Yeah.
That's great because I know a lot of people who sort of get into the thing to get that approval also. and then gradually you realize that it's all just, it's very superficial. I'm sure that
Yeah,
even if you meet
that's
them, you really don't feel that they really are meeting you. They're meeting like a persona of you. I mean,
exactly.
not to be dismissive of all the support that they're giving. I'm sure that there are
Hmm.
genuine people who genuinely support you for who you are, also not like other aspects of it. And so, what is like? Has there been like an interaction of somebody who's recognized you? I'm sure that there have been a bunch, and more than a bunch. I'm sure, like in the shows and all. Like, where you felt that you've met people, but you felt that you've really not met them, and they've really not met you. I mean, it's sort of been like you are both meeting versions of each other, and like you've not been able to understand. It's been sort of surreal to you, where you are like, I don't know, like, is this me you're talking to, or am I really talking to you, or you're talking to sort of intimidated your
Right.
version of, if you're getting what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
So how do you deal with those things? Have you like sort of become immune to it? You're like, oh, thank you so much, I really appreciate it, and sort of move on. How do you look at those things? And is it like deceptive to you? I mean, I can just imagine, man, and it could be so deceptive because you sometimes don't even realize whom are they really addressing and whom are they talking
right.
to. I've heard like a lot of famous people talk about this, that's why people just sort of go into their own shell. They're like, are they for me for who I am or who I really am? I mean,
Yeah, but the fact that each and every
hmm,
person who is listening to your music and coming to your shows is a supporter. Like if
yeah, yeah,
not something, if not a person who likes you for
hmm,
you or likes you for your face, that person is actually supporting you. That person is
1000%.
buying a ticket and
Right,
coming to your show. That person
right.
is streaming your music. Then
Hmm,
if the fact that they just like your face, like
hmm,
it sort of disturbs you, just focus on the fact
hmm.
that they're supporting your music, bro. And for
So you
me,
look at it optimistically that way. You're
yeah,
like,
bro,
sure.
that's the whole point, bro. That's how not let that thing get to your head. And
Hmm,
if I let it get to my head, and there are a lot of people who might listen to my music just because they like the way I dress or like the way I look, or
hmm,
stuff like that. I cannot just rob them of the opportunity to know me as a person in the future.
hmm, hmm, hmm,
If
hmm,
that's their initial impression of me, then it's fine, and so be it.
hmm.
They
Right.
will get to know me in like the future if they are connected with me, if they keep listening to my music and follow my journey closely.
That's a healthy mindset
But then,
actually.
yeah,
Hmm,
but then you also have a lot of people who tell you that, bro, your music changed the way I look at things. Your music has helped
hmm,
me
hmm,
sleep through night, and those things stick by you, bro. I think those are
hmm.
really meaningful. Those keep you going, and for
Right.
these things you need to just be optimistic and like
Mhm.
hope for the
I think
best.
yeah, that sort of. I mean, I don't know whether it's like a responsibility that sort of rattles you, but I think you are like, I mean, this is the impact of what I'm doing, and this is what it can sort of cultivate amongst people. So I think I probably should keep going. I'm sure that it's a very rewarding thing, and I think those things when they happen, also in whichever way they happen, I think they can either completely mess you up or really make you realize that, make you grateful towards what
Yeah,
you're doing.
it does. It
I
does.
think that's
There's
great,
no
bro.
in
That
between.
yeah, there's no
Yeah.
I totally get it, because somebody saying something so sort of
Heavy, bro.
heavy.
It comes out ऐसे randomly. You'll someday get a DM. Hey,
Hmm.
this song is really good. It touched my heart and stuff like that. And then the next thing they're telling you their story and of how they have gone through a lot of stuff. How they found this song. How they found this song at a particular time where it was important for them to find this song, and they found it, and
Hmm.
this song gave them comfort, and knowing this song
Hmm.
and the story behind it gave them comfort and made them feel better and helped them sleep at night better, then
Yeah.
that is something that it's still unreal to me. If someone comes to me and tells me that I have chills right now, if you could see, they're gone, but
Hmm.
i I think about it and it just shakes me, bro. It just,
Right. I think that's the ultimate gratification. I don't think
yeah,
any award or any sort of applause can sort of beat that. I think that's
yeah,
what most artists do, what they do for. I mean, not to
right,
seek or try to get those things from people, but I think when it happens, it's its own reward, and you can't sort of categorize it in terms of hierarchy also.
for sure, for sure.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So speaking about that, we're going to talk. We're going to ask you the last question today. I know it's been excellent talking to you, man. I mean,
Yeah,
getting to
you
know your
too, bro.
story.
You too, both of you guys.
Thank you
It's
so much,
fun.
bro. Pleasure's all ours, bro, and
Bunch
thank
of
you for taking.
amazing questions, man. I mean,
Thank you so much, bro. I
yeah,
mean, we really found your story interesting, and I mean that was the reason
thank
we
you,
sort of
man.
connected with you also. And I mean, kudos to you for being so sporting and being so real with your answers, because lot of people, just want to talk about the sugary stuff, which I
Yeah.
understand they have to. There are a lot of reasons for that also. But it's good that you just, were so authentic about it. So genuinely appreciate that. So the last question that we have each podcast is we call the corporate question, and that's only something that Parth Bhai asks. So Parth Bhai, over to you. Ask
Alright. So,
Ashwin the last question.
so
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
pretty. I mean, you'll understand why we call it a corporate question. So it's
Yeah.
basically, it's basically. I
Where do
mean,
you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh, you got it, man.
not really
you
5 years.
you mentioned the word corporate, and I knew this was coming.
Spoiler alert तो बोल देते हैं, but
So it's
थोड़ा
not basically 5 years, but again, I mean,
yeah.
what do you see yourself doing with probably in the near future, and what you have in your bag that is going to come out?
So I have been working on my next single. I don't think I can like reveal the name just yet
Mhm.
because it's still too
Okay.
soon. I'm just in the very initial process, but
Hmm.
I am working. I had a lot of songs coming out.
Hmm.
Some of them got delayed because of some or the other reason, and you know how collaborations go, right? It's
Hmm.
not just you. There are a lot of people involved, and it's gonna take time. So
Hmm.
it took me a lot of time. I gave a lot of time to certain collaborations, and yeah, I was on a break for a while. I didn't make music for a while. I was on like a short break where I was just gathering my sanity back. But right
Hmm.
now I'm in a very, good mood. I have crazy energy. I'm writing new songs. I'm
Nice.
meeting new people. I'm working with a bunch of music producers. I'm learning every day. I'm
Hmm.
just trying to get better. I'm just trying to get back in.
Hmm.
So the goal for this year is probably to release as many songs as I possibly can.
Hmm.
Jitna ho paye, just don't hold yourself. if
Mhm.
if it if you have doubts about like that one thing in the mix, just go for
Hmm.
it. Don't
Right.
worry about it.
Right.
So for this year, it's definitely more songs, more music
Hmm.
videos, more like learning experiences. And for the future, I'm sure once the live scene comes back, I'm not gonna stop, bro. I have to stop. I have to
Hmm.
start gigging. I
Hmm.
had a goal to, hit five different cities in 2020. It
Mhm.
Hmm.
unfortunately it couldn't happen, but like whenever the live gig scene like continues ekdam अच्छे से at its full capacity, I'm gonna
Hmm.
get into it, like blow the fucking roof, bro.
I'm sure you will, man. I'm sure you will. I can see
Yeah.
the determination. I can see the fire in the eyes. Absolutely, bro. Absolutely, it'll
Yeah,
happen. And we hope to catch you around, man. If you're
for
coming for a show
sure,
here in
man, for
Pune,
sure.
it's been such a pleasure talking to you, bro. And I just
You
hope you
too.
continue doing what you're doing with the same intensity, and you just keep building on it, and you reach your A to Z very soon. So thank you so much, bro. Thank you so much for
Thank you for
talking.
having me, man. Thank you.
Pleasure's all ours, bro. Pleasure's all ours, and keep inspiring, man. Keep giving back to the scene. That's great to see. So
100%.
I don't know whether this is going to be a one or two part thing because we've spoken for a while now. And
I mean, it was fun, man.
however, it'll be a trilogy, whatever. I don't know. You guys will know. So thank you so much. Firstly, go and follow Ashwin on Instagram. Just type Ashwin, the Ravichandran Ashwin spelling, not the V one,
Yeah.
and Ashwin Adwani on Instagram. Ashwin, if you want to tell I mean, you have a lot of followers, man. I mean, we need followers. Go and follow Ashwin, guys. Go and follow.
Thank
Please
you.
tell your
Thanks,
ID,
man.
bro. Please tell your ID.
So my Instagram ID is Ashwin Adwani, ASHWIN and that's the username I have everywhere. Courtesy
Hmm.
of my manager, you need to stay consistent. Shout out Arjun Shah.
Yeah. Yeah, big shout out to your management, man.
Yeah,
They were really cool
Yeah.
to talk to. So yeah, man.
yeah.
We actually almost spoke to them at par with how much we spoke to you in the podcast during the mail.
Yeah, I saw the mail thread, bro.
There
I
were
read
like
it
some
all.
20 mails. Man. I was like, are we
It's
applying to
fun.
Harvard or something? But
They're really, really amazing people, man.
oh yeah, 1000%, man. Thank you, Shark and Ink. Is it Shark and Ink? Yeah,
Shark and
Shark
Yep.
Ink.
and
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
yes, man. You guys. Okay, I'm kidding. Thank you so much, bro. And guys who made it to this point, please go and follow Sounds Home podcast every Friday on YouTube, Spotify, and other audio streaming platforms. Also, go and follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram IDs, and we're going to be seeing you very soon. Thank you so much, Ashwin, again for joining us, bro.
Thank you
And
for having me, man.
and we go and follow live music whenever gigs start again. Go and follow Ashwin on Instagram and go and visit his thing and just pick one song and just say once more a lot so that he thinks the live scene is
For
back.
sure.
And thank you so much. We'll see you around in the next podcast. Cheers. Take care, guys. Chalo. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Good night, bro.
Good
Good
night.
night, bro. Good
Good
night.
night.
Cheers. Bye bye.